hope you could all see the screen. I come to you on behalf of Start Science. Today, we're going to be learning, as hope you see on my background here, a lot about space and the solar system, specifically a lot about stars, but we'll get into that. Before we get into all that, though, I should let you know a little bit about myself. So, as you see here on the screen, this is me. My name is Gabriel Shor. I'm a student at York University studying biology. And a little fact about me, I've always had a passion for science. But it was in the beginning, it wasn't really science. I always thought about it as cool facts. But as I grew up, I realized that science really is just a bunch of cool facts. So that was really my calling. So I hope you can all see that and enjoy this presentation we have prepared for you today. So let's get right into it. So our solar system, we think about our solar system a lot about, the planets. That's where we live. So it actually consists of 8 planets. Pluto is no longer in it. So we used to have 9, now we have 8. But I have a question for you all. What's at the center of them all? So we know it's the sun, right? But have you ever stopped to consider what the sun really is? We look up at the sky and we see a huge, massive ball. And it kind of looks like a ball of fire, as you see in this picture right here. But I want to ask you, is it a planet? Is it an asteroid that you see floating around like in the asteroid belt? Or something completely different? So, the sun. The sun's actually a star. Yes, just like the stars you see at night that look very, very small. That's what the sun really is. However, the sun is actually massive, hugely massive. As you can see here, it's roughly 99% of the mass found in the entire solar system. As you see in this picture that I thought was really cool, you have this is to scale representation. So the sun is huge, and this right here is Jupiter, which is the largest planet in our solar system. And if you see down here, I hope you can see, it's the Earth, the whole world, everything from Canada to Paris to everywhere is all in this tiny little planet right here. So if you compare that to the sun, you can really see how big the sun really, really is. But what is a star? So stars are actually made up of gases, usually, specifically hydrogen and helium. Helium is what you would find in balloons. If you go to the store and buy a balloon that floats, that's the gas in there. There's cool science about how the sun actually burns, quote unquote. Specifically, you have hydrogen atoms which come together, forming helium atoms, and that releases a lot of energy. It's called fusion, but we won't get so much into that. So the stars are actually held together by their own gravity. This is really, really cool. So gravity, what you think about gravity is, let's say you're running and you jump. You immediately get pulled back down. What's the reason for that? The reason for that is that the Earth has a gravitational pull. So it wants everything to come back into its center, right? So stars are the same way. And if you think about it, they're so big and they're so heavy, they have such an incredible gravitational pull. So that's how they're able to hold all that mass. They actually form in something that's called molecular clouds. And in space, there's no friction. So let's say, how to put it, let's say you throw something in space, it would never stop. It would never stop going. That's as opposed to in Earth here. If you throw something, eventually it stops because it runs into the earth, into air, into other objects, etc. But in space, it's not like that. Once you have momentum, it doesn't stop. So the molecular clouds, the molecules, spin fast. And when they start spinning fast, they go faster and faster and faster and faster. And eventually they go super fast and they collapse into themselves. And that's how the stars are created. And actually, as we all know, the sun is extremely hot. As we see here, the sun has a core temperature estimated about 15 million Celsius. If you think about it, the place you're in right now is probably around 22 to 24 Celsius. And in a really hot summer day, usually gets about 30 Celsius. So 15 million degrees Celsius, that's a high number. So we can see the magnitude of heat. It's amazing. Now, let's talk about a little bit about the life cycle of stars. We don't usually think about objects as having life cycles, right? I mean, at least I don't. But stars actually do have a life cycle, we call it. And actually, the mass of the star when it is initially formed dictates the cycle. As we see here, we have two main paths, right? You have the stellar nebula, which is in the cloud, which we spoke about in the last slide. Now, if let's say you form a massive star, you follow this path, okay? Then you got a red supergiant, which is a type of star, and a supernova. Supernova is a massive explosion, and that massive explosion leaves behind either a neutron star, which is extremely dense, or a black hole, which is actually what we have at the center of our galaxy. And we don't know much about black holes, but that's a different topic. It's really, really cool stuff. I encourage everybody to go look up a little bit about black holes. It's amazing. But if you have a more average star, like our sun, for example, then you come a red giant, then a planetary nebula, which is still an explosion, but it's less big than a supernova, and then eventually a white dwarf. So stars do indeed die. And what does it mean for them to die? It means that we run out of fuel. And what's their fuel? We said it was hydrogen. It was the gases, right? Which fuse together to make helium. And a thing to take note of is that the bigger the star, the more intensely they burn, and therefore the more quickly they die out, as we see right here. So burning intensity is really good, but then it's a trade-off, because then the star burns for a lesser amount of time. Now that we know a little bit about the stars, what is actually the role of them? So if you think about it, the reason there is day is because of the sun, right? It releases light, and that's why we see day. And then when the sun goes away, quote unquote, we have night. Also, the gravitational pull of the sun is why we have an orbit of all the 8 planets we mentioned earlier. Just like the moon orbits around the Earth, because Earth has a gravitational pull on the moon, so too the sun has a gravitational pull on all the planets. And that's why we have a solar system. And actually, our solar system itself is in orbit around the black hole, which you see over here. Additionally, last thing is when the stars die, they themselves supply materials for new stars. So if we remember in the beginning, we saw that they come from clouds, molecular clouds. So when there's a supernova, it releases all of these molecules, and then from there we can have another star be born. So that's it for all of that, all of the information. Now I really want to play a cool activity. I think I was brainstorming what to do, and seeing the situation that we're in with coronavirus and everything. I'm currently in quarantine, for example, so I can't really go outside and get very fancy objects and everything to make a big activity. So I was thinking maybe there's other people like me out there who are in the same situation. So for me, a really fun game to play is bingo. And I think that bingo also, it serves as very educational, and it's very easy to do. So what you'll need for this is a scissors, glue or tape, Post-it notes or papers, right, to draw out, coins, M&Ms, pretzels, any other small objects you may have lying around the house. And optional, if you have a printer, then you can print the pictures, and if you want, you can just draw them. So I have here an example for you guys. So here, oh, you can't really see it. Here. So here you see a rocket, an astronaut. This is the sun right here, and everything. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get pictures, then you're gonna cut them out, and you're gonna paste them on just a regular white piece of paper in different orders. And then I have here, for example, this is my Post-it notes with with the bingo. So all you do is you come out, you pick one, and let's say it says here I have the moon. So I don't have the moon on this specific bingo board, but I have it here. So as you can see, this way you can play with your family and friends, and you can tell them how cool everything is that we've spoken about today. We've spoken about white dwarfs, the dwarfs. We've spoken about black holes. We've spoken about our solar system, helium, and everything that's out there. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I've had a lot of fun doing this, and I know I'm going to play with my friends and my family as soon as they're free. And I hope to see you again soon. Appreciate it. Have a good one, guys.